I never could see the piece that was missing because I was like, but I'm giving it my all. I'm trying to be authentic. I'm trying to, and it was still trying to. No more trying to. Just me showing up spontaneously, waiting for the impulses to hit, waiting to be inspired. Not only is this good enough, it is the real deal. It is the thing we all want to be doing more of in whatever life area you are still putting on the mask, trying to make it better, perfect, trying to confirm your worth. Setting conditions for yourself that you then fail to meet, confirming your subconscious, unconscious beliefs you had about you before. 5th video in a row now that I'm sitting here speaking to the camera spontaneously after having filmed YouTube videos for 3 years, unable to do just that. Unable to sit here, speaking to the camera, and be the same me that was standing behind the camera setting it up. Being the same me that was sitting on the couch writing the script. There's no more script. I don't need another script. So I have my beautiful notebook right here. And I had like 2 ideas about what I could be talking about today. And then as I pressed record and I sat here, I just tuned in to see what wants to be expressed through me right now. And then I just started talking again. And it turned out to be something else than the 2 ideas I had brought with me in my notebook. So actually what I'm going to do now is just, I come with empty hands, an empty mind also, an open mind, open to receive whatever wants to be expressed. There's a greater level of alignment because I'm allowing that where I was closed off and buttoned up before. Still showing up to the best of my ability at the time. It's an important example for many of us. Even if it's not YouTube for you, social media for you, where are you still trying to? Where are you still presenting with a mask because you believe that the true you underneath is not good enough for the occasion, for the people, for the goals you are trying to achieve? Any goal you are trying to achieve from the unconscious container of not feeling good enough to hold the goal, to contain the goal, you will keep struggling and trying to, and efforting and hustling without ever achieving it. Because you did not change the energetic container, the energetic blueprint, the subconscious, unconscious belief systems that were served by you not succeeding, that were validated by you not succeeding. What you are achieving, what you are trying to put out, what you're trying to create, what you're trying to attract is never gonna be beyond the energetic container that's framing your reality. You cannot hustle your way out of your own energetic container that you've been reproducing and recreating by your unconscious beliefs, by your repeating patterns. You cannot grow beyond your current level of self-worth and self-love with effort and hustle. You can only get there by letting go, by releasing the illusion of unworthiness from your system, the illusion of conditions from your system, because any condition you will ever meet, you made it up to legitimize the frame that was there before. The frame was there prior to your creations. The container was there prior to what it contains. And that container will never be able to hold more than what its size is allowing. And that's why the goal never is to hustle more, to effort more, to stress more, to try more, but to raise the capacity, to expand the capacity for what your energetic container is able to hold, which is only ever restricted by your own assumptions about who you are, about what's possible for you and in this world, which is essentially the same thing. One universe, one source, one cause, one reality, entirely subjective. The first step always is recognizing the limitations that we have put onto our own perception of reality. the limitations that we have been reproducing and recreating within our own identity configuration. The first step is to see the illusions that we have lowered our standards to, that we have lowered our perception to. Because that's what we do. We limit our perception to our assumptions, to old data. That's why many people recreate the same and similar experiences, which lead to a rather linear life. And if that's you, and if it works for you, great, good for you. And if it hasn't been working for you, try another path. Not even try another path, just shift the path. If it hasn't been working for you, shift the path. And noticing is not self-evident. It might seem and sound so obvious. You just gotta notice. Most people don't notice. I didn't really notice for 3 years. Otherwise, I would have done it differently earlier. But before, I could not access this level of spontaneity and flexibility in front of the camera because I was so tense without noticing it. It was just what it felt like to be me in front of a camera. And now that gets to be a different experience. Now that part of the identity configuration has shifted to express differently, to receive differently. And no, I did not see that before. And this is just a random example because it's so apparent that I'm sharing this with you now about me, fear of visibility, fear of being seen, filming YouTube videos. But there are so many other occasions that I could tell you about in my life and other people's lives, where step 0 always was disidentification with a block. Disidentification with a limitation, disidentification with the stress, disidentification with the effort and the mask, disidentification with the emotions underneath. Step 0, which is of course closely linked to our default state, our default mode, always represents the normality of, well, this is just how I do this thing. And often this thing, whatever it is, in whatever life context, life area it is wrapped up in coping mechanisms unconsciously. That's just how I do this. That's just how I manage to make that experience, to make that interaction, to make that context feel safe. That's just how I show up in order to feel worthy enough, lovable enough, important enough. We all start from disidentification, and the moment that we start noticing the coping behind the strategy, the nature of strategy as the opposite of easy, aligned, peaceful creation, that moment new things become possible because we are shifting the energetic container holding the expression and impression of the experience. It's when you change the container that the reflection changes. The reflection back at you. Because both your output and the reactive input you receive appear in the same container. Which container is framing your reality right now? Which container is limiting what you are able to achieve? What you are able to create from the identity configuration that you currently hold? And remember, until you've done the conscious work on yourself, your identity configuration is set on default, is set on a childhood default model. Because we do not just begin to create from a new identity set point as we grow up. It's only when we become conscious that we can become the observer in our own experience, in our own thought and belief systems, and understand the stories, the limiting beliefs that we have bought into for years and decades. Until you're doing the conscious work, you're set on default mode. It's only when you become aware of the setup that you get the chance to change the setup. Seriously, just think of your phone. Until you go through the settings, you cannot change the settings. Until you look through the settings, the default mode the phone came in is just gonna be how your phone works. This is what this phone's doing, this is the color setup, it is what it is. And it's only when you scroll through the settings and read the settings that you can change them. Oh, there are other color themes I could choose from by becoming aware of them. Here's the tricky thing about noticing. We cannot notice, and we are not gonna notice until we become willing to release the protective coping mechanism behind the action, behind the default. Because once we notice, once we show up differently, the coping mechanism disappears. And it cannot disappear unless it becomes safe enough for us to experience another state of being that we still know to be safe, even if it's not the default anymore. I recently heard several, like 2 or 3 different spiritual teachers from very different philosophical backgrounds say that the moment we become aware of a pattern, the pattern dissolves. Honestly, I'm only realizing now in this precise moment how it makes perfect sense and how my perfect example is me showing up differently on camera. Because I literally remember the moment where I realized what it means to show up without the script, without the bracing, without the guarding myself, without the preparation and the trying to. And it was in that moment where I could see that, notice that for the very first time, that the pattern dissolved. And now I can sit here and show up differently. And it was possible for the pattern to dissolve after 3 years of filming YouTube videos, only because of the work that I've been doing on myself for the past months that made it safe enough for the pattern to dissolve. When we fully notice a pattern, the pattern dissolves. And until the pattern dissolves, we have not understood the full picture yet. That there's simply more to explore, more to become aware of about ourselves, about our own default, about the internal unconscious logic behind our thoughts and feelings and actions. This means that the power of change always is in the present moment. It is irrelevant what we understand about the mechanism, the pattern from afar, from the distance. We need to observe it in the moment it is occurring. The observation needs to appear in the moment in which the coping mechanism is carried out for us to deconstruct the pattern. When we fully become aware of the pattern dissolves. In whichever area of life we dissolve a pattern, we will act from a greater level of self-integrity, flexibility, spontaneity, from our true nature from that point forward. Because patterns are the chains that are keeping us from the growth and expansion and creations that we desire. It's not the people from our past who hurt us. It's not the trauma we experienced. It is how we are showing up now from a limited perception of self. Got any occasional awakenings? Now I'd like to hear from you, so please let me know in the comments below. Which was the last pattern that you dissolved through your awareness? Which was the last pattern or the moment where you realized, wait, what am I doing here? Why is this the way I'm doing things? When it's not natural, when it's just trying to. When was the last time you gave up the hustle? Please let me know in the comments below about your experience. That's it. And yeah, wishing you a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye.